The global pandemic has led to sweeping changes and disruptions in nearly every aspect of our daily life. With mandates and guidelines changing all the time, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by our own anxieties. It is important to practice empathy during this time, not only for others, but for ourselves as well. There are many benefits to practicing empathy. Empathizing with others can help you feel less lonely and more connected. It also increases the likelihood that people will reach out and help others when they need it. In addition to boosting social connectedness and increasing helping behaviors, empathizing with others also improves your ability to regulate your emotions during times of stress. Feeling empathy allows you to better manage the anxiety you are experiences without being overwhelmed. Good evening, friends. Welcome to Brand 10,000 W Combinator 100 Days to Leadership Transformation Day 17. To speak about practicing empathy during pandemic, we have a very special person with us today. Before introducing her, let me introduce myself. I'm Aparna G. Kumar, the Global Co-Chairperson of GCPIT, that is a Global Council for the Promotion of International Trade, a not-for-profit registered in India and South Africa. We are on a mission to handhold, empower, and support SMEs globally. As I said in the beginning, practicing empathy and being empathetic makes you a better leader. We have with us today Dr. Ruby Bakshi Khurdi. She is an award-winning innovative educationist, TEDx speaker, emotional intelligence expert, and acclaimed international keynote speaker. She is popularly known as Kahoot Professor by her students. Her teaching style focuses on gamification and perceptual learning. She has done her PGD BA from Jaipuria Institute of Management, India, with major specialization in human resources management and minors in marketing management. She has a postgraduate certificate in higher education from University of Derby, UK, and holds a doctorate in business administration from American University in Switzerland. She firmly believes education and communication are strong pillars in developing a progressive nation. As an educationist, she is always looking for creative ways to connect with the students in actual as well as virtual learning environment. She motivates them by highlighting their work and giving them a safe learning environment. She is a very passionate person with a vision to educate people with life skills and connect emotionally towards building a creative society. She has been working consistently since few years to make her vision a reality. Dr. Ruby has been invited to speak at various international seminars in UK, India, Amsterdam, Portugal, Nepal, China, Prague, and Bahrain. In Switzerland, she has conducted highly successful training sessions at United Nations Geneva, Good Festival in Lausanne, Nestle, Vive, and Science Congress in Zurich. During challenging times of COVID-19, she participated in various webinars, live masterclasses, and talk shows to motivate people across the world. She is frequently sharing her expertise on topics like education, emotional intelligence, mindfulness, women empowerment, public speaking, stress management, and practicing resilience. Let me proudly welcome award-winning educationist, international public speaker, emotional intelligence trainer, and GCPIT's Global Women in Leadership Award winner this year, Dr. Ruby Bakshi Khurdi. Dr. Ruby, we are really honored to have you today with us. We have been seeing your activities during pandemic in Switzerland, the way you were sending oxygen concentrators and all from Switzerland to India. So amazing work. We're really proud of you and really honored to have you on today. So welcome to our show. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aparna, for inviting me on the GCPIT prestigious platform. I'm really, really humbled with all the wonderful things that you are reading. And it really looks like, wow, did I actually do all these things?
Of course, yeah. I mean, doing a lot more. I had to cut short a lot. I'm really proud of your activities. Yeah.
It's really nice, like, especially when we are all going through challenging times, the way we support each other by sharing, by caring, and by constantly doing something for uplifting the moods of other people. It's true, pandemic has been a very, very challenging period for everyone all over the world. But at the same time, by doing things, by doing something meaningful, by doing something which can bring a smile on others' face is something that is really required, especially at the present moment. And it is true when we say this, there are a lot of things which people can really bring about or change the way things are happening just by initiating small things here and there. And having said that, it is very important, when we are talking about small things, it's like how you initiate those things, that is important. It's not how big you are doing or how big contributions you're making, but what you are doing to make those contributions meaningful, that is important. And I must say, you are amazingly working with GCIPT panel as well as with Santosh ji on so many things, like uplifting women and showing them small things wherein they are making a difference. And that's all dealing with people and showing bit of empathy. As I said, when we are going through challenging times, it's during these times people learn to understand and learn to appreciate the small things which normally we would ignore or we would not even take into consideration because of our hectic schedules or overwhelming things that were happening in our life. But yes, when we do things which are a little bit more adding value to other people's lives, which are giving some people a reason to smile or reason to feel happy, that is what is most important at this point of time. And when you mentioned about sending oxygen concentrators, this is something like, which just came up during pandemic, when we saw, even sitting far away from India, a group of some people, when we saw this happening, that India lacks oxygen, so much started happening. In the beginning, India was doing so well, they were facing so well and everything was under control. And it was helping other countries. But with passage of time or with turn of events, it's just happened that India needed help. And it's at that point of time, some people here in Switzerland formed Help India Breathe Again team, and it is just showing bit of empathy. When we are sitting here, we are breathing the clean air, going out with masks, of course taking all the required precautions, but still we were not having the same issues or same problems which our countrymen were facing. And we decided to do something like this with Help India Breathe Again movement. We just started with GoFundMe and we appealed to people to give some funds where people can be helped, and we could send some oxygen concentrators back home. And I'm so proud to say and acknowledge all the amazing people all over the world who came forward, and we were able to sell more than 70 oxygen concentrators back home. And when I say send, it is like something as if you're sending, life for people. It's actually making them breathe. And when we were doing that, we were just thinking how they must be feeling, how they must be, organizing things between the people. And when we started getting messages back from them, Aparna, believe me, that was like, feeling, oh my God, I actually did something which was worth being a human. And that is what is empathy. We need to step in the shoes of other people, how they are feeling, what they are feeling. And only when we empathize with other people, we are able to help them. We are able to do things which can really bring a smile on their faces. um, as I said, when we did this at that point of time, we did not know that we will be doing so many things. We'll be doing connecting with so many people. And the team that I connected here during this time, I would just say I knew one person. I had not met any of them. We are all different people, 10 people, all different people, not knowing anything about anyone. The only common thread that binded us all together was to do something for our country. Be empathetic and think about those people who are suffering back home. And with just this pure intention and passion to help people, we started doing these things. And now we are planning to send, small donations to help people, like a kitchen home. Like, constantly they are getting food, because now concentrators are kind of bit okay. The condition is much better as compared to what it was back then. Now we plan to do something wherein we can have like a kitchen facility for people who are having COVID, or help the families who are facing that problem, like the whole family is down with COVID. So what can be done with food facility? It's during that time you want someone to cook for you, you want someone to be there for you. So it's all about caring, sharing, and being there for somebody. And when I say being there for somebody, it's a must thing. It's like people help people understand when they sit in the shoes of other people. And as an educator, I would just say, I'm just sharing my things. I think it's always better, it's always good to share your side of the story, because when you share from your side, people know what this person has done and they take it from there and carry forward. So as an educator as well, I was trying to bridge the gap for my students, because all the classes have been happening via virtual learning environment. There were hardly any face to face, though. I would say since last 3 or 4 weeks in Switzerland, we started having face to face classes as well. Things are getting normal here, so we are getting back to normal face to face classes. But during the time when it was happening, during the whole pandemic, I would say we as educators became more empathetic towards our students. And when I say we, the whole team, all the people, possible people that I know in my teachers fraternity, they became so, like soft. Like some started playing role of a mother, father, brother, sister, like whatever capacity, they started playing those roles to comfort the students who were like kind of shocked, confused, because we can understand, when we are talking, I can see your face, you can see my face, we have that connection. But imagine when we don't have that connection, when we don't have that facility of seeing each other and talking, then it becomes bit, not very good. And especially when you're doing your studies, especially when you are spending x amount of money on something and not getting the return in the same way, you are kind of struggling to make both ends meet. And it's during this time, I thought it's better to reach out to the students, not just being the teacher over there or as the professor sitting, with, have you done your assignments, did you follow the classes? But what I started doing as a practice, I would like to share this with all the possible people, whether teachers, trainers, or educators. Try doing it. It's really good. Your students will really appreciate, their parents are going to thank you for it. So try to, first thing, try to not be as a teacher only, try to be as a mentor to your students. And start your Zoom meeting or team, whatever platform you're using, with a friendly thing. Hey guys, what did you do yesterday? How was your weekend? Try that human connection there, because we are in a virtual world. And if you just start with your lessons, then it's like a robotic thing. It's not the same. So what I started doing was, anyways, I had been doing a lot of gamification in the past. You already mentioned I'm known as the Kahoot professor. So it's a beautiful nickname which I enjoy from my students. So what I do is I start with a normal routine of asking them how was their weekend, how they are feeling. If there are some special days like someone's birthday or some anniversary that they want to share, so we share it in the Zoom room, like as if we are in a cafe, Zoom cafe, where we are talking to each other. And sometimes I even encourage them to get their coffee or their special drink that they feel comfortable, so that they don't sleep off or doze in the class, because I want them to be alive and live with me, both mentally and physically. So having said that, we do those kind of activities and then switch to the serious stuff, that is the study part. And then I give them activities or things where they are not spending hours together in front of the screen, because it is taxing. It is taxing even for my eyes. I was down with an eye infection 2 days back. So today for the meeting, I've just put a little bit of black coal since I had to be live talking and telling people what I had been doing. But it was not easy. It was not easy. We have to put that brave face sometimes. It's okay to show that you are vulnerable. You don't have to have that I am the best or I am okay kind of a thing. It's okay to show that you are not okay. And this is what I have been emphasizing to everyone, whether it's women, men, students, my friends, everyone. Sometimes it's okay not to be okay, because when you are always acting everything is good, and there is a time that it is like, you are kind of, I can't take it anymore. So it's better to shut down for some time, just take a deep breath and calm down. Because when we are constantly like these days, when we are constantly in Zoom rooms, Zoom meetings, attending seminars, doing homeworks, doing our assignments, everything on Zoom or everything on the screen, it is taxing for the eyes. It's really getting too much. And during these times, what I started doing is that I started giving some assignments or some reading work which students can do in their leisure activity. not in front of the screen all the time. And that's what I'm encouraging more and more professors or educators to do. Be empathetic towards your students, because if you realize what they are going through, you are taking, let's say you are teaching 10 hours and then you are done, but they have a full schedule of, let's say, 20 to 25 hours. And it can be too much, because after doing 25 hours of a weekly reading and learning, they have to do their assignments. So for them, it's plus, it's much more. So try to be thinking like them, calculate the number of hours roughly, so that you are able to put them in good position. So this is my role as an educator, which I have been doing a lot, and try to bring game like situations in the classes, because everyone likes to play games. So when I see my students are very tired or they're kind of dead by 4 o'clock in the evening, I switch to playing Kahoot, or I switch to playing some, role reversal, or something which is more fun. But at the same time, they're understanding it's not just fun, but they're understanding that particular activity. So when we do these kind of things, believe me, Aparna, it's so good. Students enjoy, they understand, and at the same time, they learn more, because they see that the teachers are trying their level best to try to help them. So then they do that in return as well. So this is, as an educator, how I have been trying to be more empathetic. Then I already told the social role which I had been doing to help people. And I request everyone, all the people, whichever capacity, whichever role you are playing, try to reach out. Because if you are in a place that is self-sufficient, you are safe, everything is touchwood good, try to think where people need help, what you can do to help them. Because if you are able to help them in whatever capacity today, uh, that's really going to be a very good feeling for you, because you will remember this, I did it for this person, or I'm doing it for this person, how good it is. At the end of the day, you'll definitely feel very, very happy by giving them small things here and there. And at the end of the day, I would say, if everyone is getting connected, if everyone is thinking of these meaningful collaborations, alone anyone can think, oh, I'm happy, I'm successful, I'm doing everything that needs to be done. But still, you can't be happy all by yourself all the time. You do need people. I think, Aparna, you would agree. You do need people to smile. You do need people to appreciate what is good, what is nice. We need that with the other people, because man is a social animal. We need that thing. So it is important when you need the societal approval for certain things, when you need your friends to be there for you. Make sure that you connect with the right kind of people, because sometimes it's normal, when we are going through this stage, um, some people, they feel depressed, right? There are a lot of people who are not able to go out, who are not able to see the sunlight the way we do, in a cleaner or much more, I would say, safe condition. So try in your own capacity that you help them come out of that depression. I don't have to say that you have to be an expert to help them. You could be just you, normal you. Crack a joke with them, smile, sing with them, do something funny, something silly that makes them come out of that thing. Because it's important, especially when we are not going out, when we are not seeing the outside world, when everything is kind of limited, stay home, stay indoors, that kind of thing. It will definitely impact the people in the long run. They will definitely feel bit lost. So it is important, when you have these kind of people whom you know in your circle, or whom you know through your friends circle, try to make them feel comfortable, try to make them that we are there for you kind of approach. Because when we do this, they definitely feel better, they definitely feel that yes, things are getting fine, things are getting okay, I'm there. So it is very important, when more and more people start connecting, when more and more like-minded people come together, they are able to do much more meaningful things that what you could do alone. Because I mean, we all have our limited time, we all have our families, our social commitments, our personal commitments. And on top of that, if you are doing something extra to bring that extra smile on others' faces, it's an extra effort, I know, but at the end of the day, it is worth it. You might be tired, you might be really like, ah, I'm done with it, I'm not going to do. But next day, believe me, you would want to do it again, because it brought so much internal happiness to you that you will definitely keep on doing something big or small, but in a consistent way. So the key to all these things is being consistent. And when I say practicing empathy, it is in your different own ways that you can think what is good. Some people like dancing, some people like singing. There are a lot of women groups that I joined during this time, whom I did not know initially, but we got connected virtually, who were into dancing, who were into singing. I'm not a good singer. I'm a good dancer. I can say that because I love dancing. So we got connected and we just started doing something fun, just something fun, wherein the more and more we got connected to such people who were undergoing depression or who were saying, I don't know whether I'm going to live. I don't know, is this my last birthday or is this my last anniversary? So when they would say these kind of things, we would just joke and say, are you planning to go to Mars? Are you planning to go to moon? Why are you saying it's your last? So even though the situation was a bit serious or sad, okay, but in that sad situation, we have to try to bring some happiness. It's like getting the best out of worst situation. So when you try to do those kind of things with the people, they might become angry. It's normal. They might say it's not funny, it's not a joke. They might say like that because sometimes older people, they react like that. It's okay. Listen to them. Let them spit that anger out of their system. So some people, they like I would say a little bit more religious stuff. They like chanting, they like singing devotional songs. So whatever is the way, whichever type of people you are meeting or interacting with, make sure, even if you don't fit 100%, even if you fit, I would say, fit 5%, give that 100%, give that full 5% to those people. Because the more you do these kind of things, it's really a beautiful feeling, because they will think you are making an effort, and that's what counts. When both the people are making an effort to go forward or to do something which is plus plus, things become much much better. And that's what it is all about: caring, sharing, and trying to find your like-minded tribe where you can help and bring happiness in people's mind. So these are just small nuggets that I like to share with everyone, that it is good to take care of yourself. A lot of people say that you should do a lot of self analysis. Give yourself first, then take care of the other people. So that is also one approach that is also there, that when everyone is going through this challenging time, you have to give time to yourself as well. Take care of yourself. Try to do meditation or whatever that gives you happiness. Like I'm not a meditation person. I'm more a reading person, or I'm more a Zumba person, I would say. I'm more like, a person who's really energetic. So whatever thing gives you happiness, try doing it every day. And that is something that when you do it in a consistent basis, you will be trying to find the right balance every day. You will find your balance. You will know, okay, this is what brings happiness and this is what shakes me up. So when you have found the right balance with your body, with your system first, then you have to connect with other people. And that's why I talk a lot and tell everyone to practice emotional intelligence. Because when everything is okay, people have smile on their face, they have a full stomach, they have a smile on their face, everyone is happy go lucky. It's only when things are not right, it's only when things are not going according to your plan, then you need to keep your calm and practice emotional intelligence. And having said that, it's like finding the right balance between yourself and the people around you. And those people around you could be your family, your immediate family, your parents, your co-workers, your friends, anyone and everyone in the outside circle. So make sure you find the right mix between these kinds of people and keep going. Thank you, Abid. Thank you. So it is really nice, very well said, Abhi. Empathy is connecting with people. Very true. Because the more you connect with the people, the more you evolve. You learn things from them. You learn every single day. Maybe Aparna is good at something. I will learn that from her. Maybe Madhvi is good at something. I'm just taking the names over here. So if Madhvi is good at something, I'll try to take that from her. But if there are some people who think, oh, Mehul is good at this thing, how can he be good at that? It's normal. We are human beings. We can have inspirational skills as well as jealousy. We can have that feeling also. So try, when you're having more of negative feelings, like when you're jealous, when you're angry, when you are like depressed, or when you are confused, when you have those negative feelings, you are your best critic, you are your best judge. So you can definitely understand that I'm going through this kind of phase, which is not okay. And when you see it is going towards the negative side, try to push yourself to come back. And those are the times when I say try to push yourself, try to do things that bring happiness, that give you happiness, whether meeting people, whether eating. Some people like eating. I start eating a lot of chocolate when it happens. Maybe sometimes I'm trying to keep away from chocolate. But when I start feeling frustrated or angry, or I have a bad day, after all, we are human. It's normal. We go through those phases. Even if I talk about emotional intelligence, I also do have emotional imbalance sometimes. Because at the end of the day, it's very, very normal. We go through these things. So make sure when you are going more towards the negative side, come back. Cooking, yes, Abir, cooking as well. Some people, they like to cook. So whatever you like, whatever are your good things, start practicing that, so that you can move your thing, the radar that is going towards the negative thing, to the positive thing. And the more you are coming towards the positive, or even if you are able to come in the middle, good job, you are good to go. That's already a plus. And once you have reached that safe zone, that you are not in the company of toxic people, or you are in the company of like-minded people, then try to connect more with other people who inspire you. Learn every single day, because the more you learn, the more you connect with the like-minded people, the better it is for you. You will evolve accordingly, and that is what will make you comfortable, and that's what will make you be good and be balanced for other things as well. So that is my take, Aparna, for practicing empathy during pandemic. And I say it's a must, as I said, especially during negative time, especially during challenging time, that we have to maintain the balance. And now I would be happy if people have any questions or anything, that I would be happy to share other situations as well.
Thank you so much, Ruby. That was awesome as always. As you said, we can all try to spread a smile, spread some happiness to other people's lives, and that's what we are trying to do through this series as well. And as you mentioned in today's classes, I really feel we have to stay with kids, because we don't know what is going through their minds, right? Like the concept of Zoom cafe was really awesome. I think, as you suggested, and giving more reading activities to children will be really good, because they are indoors all the time. And as I said, we don't know what is going through their minds. And developing a reading habit really opens up new doors for a magical new world for them, right? That was a really an eye opener for me as well as a mother, and I will start practicing this in my home too. As you said, we are all social animals and we can't survive without talking to people. We need people to laugh. We need people to talk to, especially during this tough time. And that is what we are doing through our W Combinator, a whole new world of bubbly girls who are amazing global leaders, who are always active, always ready to support, and always ready to jump in when we come up with something new, something innovative. And since we have people from across the globe, we have people active 24/7 in the group, right? You might have observed. And it's amazing. I believe, as you said, I have seen you dancing the Lungi dance, I think, long back. I know you are an awesome dancer. So I think joining some groups like that and meeting old friends over Zoom, everything makes a lot of difference, right? Everybody is going through a really tough time. So now let us open for questions. Anybody have questions? Let me see the chat. Abir, would you like to ask something? Carla is here. Anju ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Abir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello. Thank you, Ruby,
Hi.
for the great speech. I love the topic and I was listening to you. It's very interesting. I want to share something. I have a small book talking about empathy. It's a pocket book. I don't know if you're seeing it. Yeah, it's a pocket book talking about empathy. As I'm a member of Surplus Congress group in USA, talking about human rights and referring to George Lakoff's book. This book is promoting human rights, talking about empathy and encouraging people to take care about each other. So that's why you can see different photos talking about SDGs, human rights, etc. I'm not sure the image is clear, but anyways, thank you for this topic. Everything is clear. I have no question. I just want to share this. This book, anyone can get it if he's interested. And thank you again, Ruby.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abir, for such nice words. I could not see the book very well, but of course, I will ask Aparna to share the details so that I can see it and have a clear understanding what the book is all about. But yes, as you said, it's all about, whether we talk about SDGs, how we can relate to them, what are the various things that we can do to bring a difference or to make a difference. And that's what is most important. And, when you were showing the book, it was the same, when during pandemic, I published my own book. And there also, I came up with the 3E theory. It's called Dr. Ruby's 3E theory, which is, I'm not able to see the book. I think when you're showing the book, it is getting lost with the virtual background. Yeah. So the 3E theory is pretty much similar, where we can relate it with the SDG, that is practicing educating the people. That's the very first thing. Whenever people are having problems or issues, the first thing is to educate them. What is the problem? Why are we doing this? Because what happens is, when we are having issues, we hit the panic button. People start getting scared. Oh my God, what do we do? How do we do? That kind of thing. So first is, you need to educate the people what can be done under those circumstances. Once you have educated them, like life skills, once you've educated them, then second one is empathy, which I said I emphasize a lot on it, that you have to sit in the shoes of the people and understand why is it happening like that. Not try to pinpoint the problems, because it's very normal when employees don't perform well at workplace. People start saying, what's wrong with him? He used to be a good employee. What went wrong? He used to be my star performer, and suddenly he has become, a low-key manager. What went wrong? So instead of blaming, we need to empathize and think. Ask the question to the person, hey, what went wrong? Why did you change your working style? Are you okay? So if you show that concern, are you okay? Is everything okay? You are sitting in the shoes of that person, and he feels better, and he starts responding in a good or moderate way. And the third one, which is the last one, is empower, which is giving or delegating the people, which is a must in today's world, especially when everyone is professionally qualified, academically as well as professionally qualified. So we need to empower that people. When you empower people, when you delegate, hey, you are ambassador of so and so, hey, you are director of so and so, you automatically feel happy, you feel important and valued. So when you are especially practicing these 3 E's of educating, empathizing, and empowering people, automatically you take charge. Even if initially you were kind of shaky, you were kind of not knowing how to deal with it, but you start getting more and more comfortable and confident. It boosts your morale, and you start feeling more confident as a person. So this is what I also did. I have this, my book at the back that you see. I wrote this during this time itself, and I also feel very happy. It was not in my to-do list, but after doing it, I feel very happy that I brought up this theory, and it is making a lot of changes and creating an impact in the teaching industry for the educators.
Great, Ruby.
Thank
That's
you.
really great. That's really great. And, emotional intelligence is something really, like we have never thought about it. So, I mean, that's really too good. It's something very new we have learned about it.
Thank you,
Thank you
Anju
so
ji.
much. Thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anju.
Thank you, Anju ma'am. Habib, you can show now. I have pinned you. I think now we are able to see the book. Yeah, Illustrated Universal Declaration of Human Rights. You show the back of the book. Yes, declaring, I couldn't read it. Declaring and surviving a climate emergency is a strategic reason the world needs more empathy. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. Any other questions? Mr. Mehul, I think he has come on video.
Aparna, thank you. Thank you, Aparna. Thank you, Ruby, for this wonderful session. Very enlightening, very inspiring. To what you said, I just wanted to add something. I have no questions. No, we are human beings, and God has gifted human beings to empathize, to sympathize. And human beings are the only species who can really bring change, positive change in this world. So being human, we should be doing that only. So that's what I want to add to this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mehul. Thank you. Any other questions? Carla is asking, Carla Gibson, thank you for the wonderful topic and your encouragement. I am curious about how people are doing in India and how can we continue to help. Yes, Carla, we'll connect offline and we'll discuss this. Ruby, would you like to say something about that?
I would just say, Carla, that's a very good concern. It's a very genuine concern, what people are going through. And especially when we are fortunate that we live in a country that we are not going through those kind of things. Try to connect with some social organization. I think Aparna could help you in that as well. If you want, you can connect me with me as well, or any social organization which you are having a comfort zone with, or you are able to, having that belief that it is correct. Because what happens is there are a lot of organizations who say that they're doing something, but they may not be doing something. So the need of the hour is to find the right kind of organization where you can help, because it's going to be another 1 year till situation in India is going to be normal. So if oxygen concentrators or those kind of machines are available, things are better. But there are families who need a continuous food supply. There are families who need support system, because there are a lot of kids who are there, both the parents gone or the whole family gone, as siblings are left. So there are lots and lots of organizations that are coming together to have like a support system, medicine, providing medicines which are necessary medicines. But of course, if you are abroad, you can't do that because we can't send medicine from here. So whatever support you can extend to the people there, try to give it your best thought and just go for it. It is call for action time, and I appeal to everyone in whatever way. It's not about contributing money only. In whatever way you can help the people, just do it. Right now India needs support. There might be other countries as well who are needing support. So don't sit back when you see any countries in need. Just extend your support in whichever way you can, but you need to connect. You need to do something for the people.
Thank you so much, Ruby. It was an awesome message also to everyone. When Carla says thank you, I would like to connect and would like your book as well. So how to get your book? I think Amazon, it's available on Amazon, right?
Yes, the book is available. I can just show it to you. The book is available. And what Mehul ji was mentioning, this is the book. It is called, and it is shifted paradigm due to COVID. When everything has gone online, everything is kind of shifted from face-to-face classes to virtual classes. It is really, I would say, and I've given a lot of things like this. It's in a very easy language. It's in a very easy way where people, even children or anyone and everyone who sees and reads, he or she can understand. And as I was saying, this is what I was telling. And Mehulji, if I write my next book, I'm going to add your suggestion as well. See, it's always nice to connect with people, so you have something, being human, sympathetic, so maybe I will add on with the S thing. So the more we connect, the more we are able to learn from each other. And that's the rule, and it's always great wherever you can see a small window open, where you can get a ray of light. You need to grab, you just need to grab. You can't just sit, okay, I wish someone will help, and you're looking at the light. It's not going to do anything for you. You need to make an effort, move your hands, move your feet towards that light, so that you can grab that light and make the best use of it. And it's all being, one is being empathetic, and second is being reactive. Don't just wait for the fruit to fall in your mouth without making an effort. So God has said, I will get that fruit. Okay, God has said, but you need to shake the tree, or you need to do something so that you can have the fruit and have a good life in the future.
Thank you so much, Ruby. Anju ma'am says you explain in such a humble way. Thank you, Anju ma'am. And Santosh sir is saying we are starting a medicine bank as well. So that's
Thank you.
very
Thank you.
positive.
That was awesome.
Thank you, Anju ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. And that was really an awesome session. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Ruby. I think no more questions, right? Are there any more questions anybody would like to ask? I don't think. In the chat also, I cannot see any questions. So I think let's find out. And as I said, thank you so much for taking some time out of your tight schedule. I know I can see your activities every day on Facebook and LinkedIn and on your status as well. Thank you so much for giving some time to GCPIT as well. And I thank our audience too for being with us all through this series. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Abir. Thank you, Anju ma'am, Madhuri ma'am, Mehul, and all others who have joined us on our Facebook Live and YouTube Live as well. We hope these sessions are useful to you and will help you in your journey once the pandemic is over. If you would like to connect to Dr. Ruby, you can go to our website, gcpat.org, and you have an option to connect to her through mail. If you feel you are an exceptional leader and you want to join us in our mission, please contact us at gcpat.org. If you like today's session, please go to our Facebook page and post your positive feedback there. We'll be back with another very special guest, Dr. Poonam from Scotland tomorrow. Till then, this is Aparna Kumar signing off. Stay safe, take care. And Dr. Ruby, would you like to add something as your closing remark?
Thank you. All I can say, thank you so much, GCPIT, for giving me this opportunity. I really enjoyed talking to such an amazing audience who was here, and we really connected very well. And whatever we can do together, just be open to any kind of support, to any kind of collaboration, because pandemic has been a learning experience. Even though it had been very challenging, but it has been a good learning experience in certain ways, which has taught us about to respect small things, to be happy in small things. Do not expect too much. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep on helping people in need. Because the more you are going to help them, the more you are going to evolve as a person. So just keep doing your best and stay safe. So again, I'm repeating, pandemic is about emotional connection. It talks about social distancing, but not emotional distancing. So keep connected to your loved ones. Try to be there for them. Whoever, whether it's your parents, old parents, whether it's your young children, your friends, whoever needs you, try to connect and stay connected with them and evolve together. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aparna. Thank you so much,
Thank you so much
for this great platform. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Padna. That was great.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Ruby. Thank you, Anju ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Ruby. Thank you, Aparna. Last thing, may I add something to this?
Yes, of course.
So basically, I believe in giver's gain, and I also believe that whatever goes around comes around. So whatever we do is going to come back to us with a lot of more things added to it. So we do good, we get good. It is as simple as that.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Nice
Thank
and
you.
very enlightening and inspiring session, Ruby. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.
Stay
Take care. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.